Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today, it is December 23rd, 2022. It's on Friday, the last day. Most of the people, it will be the last day of the week. I mean the business working days. The last working day in a week for most of people. How are you spending Friday? Are you already in vacation? Are you already in vacation? Are you already on a vacation? Are you already on holidays? Are you already on the New Year holidays? Are you already on New Year holidays? Are you already on New Year vacation? Are you interested in anti-aging? Anti-aging. Are you interested in anti-aging? Anti-aging. Are you interested in anti-aging? Anti-aging. Are there already anti-aging medicines? Are there already anti-aging medicines? Is regular exercise a kind of anti-aging? Is regular exercise a kind of regular anti-aging? Is regular exercise a kind of a sort of anti-aging? Is regular exercise a kind of anti-aging? Is regular exercise a kind of anti-aging? Is regular exercise a sort of anti-aging? Is regular exercise a form of a type of anti-aging? The antibiotics didn't work for me, so I was diagnosed. I was prescribed steroid, and then my disease was treated. The antibiotics didn't work for my disease, so I was prescribed steroid, which worked. Antibiotics didn't work for my disease, so I was prescribed steroid, and then it worked, ending up eradicating my disease. Are you interested in anti-aging medicine? Anti-aging. Are you interested in anti-aging? Do you think having a regular exercise is contributing to anti-aging? Do you think having a regular exercise and eating healthy are contributing to the anti-aging? Do you think having a regular exercise and eating healthy food are contributing to anti-aging? Anti-aging. Anti-aging, 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 anti-aging. Are you in a paperwork, anti-paperwork stance? Anti-paperwork stance. Anti-car stance. Anti-gas car stance. Are you Anti-gas, gas car, anti-gas car, petroleum car. Are you anti-gas car? Are you anti-petroleum cars? Are you anti-obsolete policies? Are you anti-obsolete policies? Anti-controversy stance, anti-controversy stance, anti-fighting stance. Some people are in anti-fighting stance, in anti-fighting stance, in anti-fighting stance, in an anti-fighting stance. And some people are in an anti-fighting stance, anti-fighting, anti-fight stance, anti-fight stance. Do you have the interest in anti-aging? Anti-aging. Are you interested in anti-aging, anti-aging? Are you in an anti-controversy stance? Are you in anti-controversy stance? Are you anti-vaccination? Are you anti-vaccination? Are you in anti-vaccination stance? Anti-stricter laws, anti-measures, anti-border measures. Antibiotics didn't work for my disease at first, so I was prescribed steroid. There are many kinds of penalties. Penalties. Have you got penalties for ignoring the signal street? Have you got penalties for wrongdoings or what you have done something wrong? The soccer player got penalty. The judge sentenced the man to the penalty of lifetime in the prison, jail. The man was sentenced to the penalty of 2 years in the jail. The driver of the speeding car paid the penalty of $30. The driver of the speeding car paid the penalty of $30 for speeding. The driver of the speeding car paid the penalty of $50. The driver of the car paid the penalty of $50 for the speeding. The driver of the car paid the penalty of $50 for speeding. There are many kinds of penalties. There are many kinds of penalty. Fines, jail, and so on. Suspension, revocation of the license, and so on. The driver of the car got the penalty of the revocation of his driver's license. The man got the penalty of the revocation of his license for what he did, for the wrongdoing. Penalty kick. Don't think that you can get away with the penalty. Don't even think that you can get away with penalty. The death penalty. The death penalty. The judge sentenced the man to the death penalty. The judge sentenced the man to the death penalty. The judge sentenced the man to the penalty of lifetime in prison. The penalties of fine are common for wrongdoings. Penalties of fines are common for wrongdoings. The driver of the car paid the penalty of $20 for speeding. The driver of the car paid a penalty of $20 for speeding. The driver of the car paid the penalty of $20 for speeding. The driver of the car paid the $50, the penalty of $50 for speeding. The driver of the car paid the tremendous penalty for speeding. The increase in the amount of penalty, do you think will curb the drivers from speeding? Do you think the increase in the amount of penalty for speeding cars, speeding driver, will curb the drivers from speeding? Do you think the increase in the amount of penalty for speeding driver will curb the driver from speeding? Do you think the increase in the amount of penalty will curb the drivers from speeding? Penal law, civil law, penal law, penal code. What is the difference between penal code and penal law? Penal charge. In order to avoid paying a penal charge, the driver escaped, but he was arrested. Penal code, 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 penal code. Penal code, penal code, penal code, penal, penal, a penal charge, penal, penal, penal code, civil code, civil code, civil law, civil law, civil law, penal code, penal law, civil law and penal law, civil code and penal code, penal code, penal, 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 penal. Penal, penal, penal code, penal code, a penal charge. The driver of the car paid the penal charge for speeding. The driver paid a penal charge, paid the penal charge of $20 for speeding. The driver paid the penal charge for speeding. The driver paid the penal charge for speeding. Penal code, civil code, penal code, civil code, civil code, penal code, penal code, penal code, penal code. Penal code. Penal code, penal, 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 penal. Penal, penal. Penal code and civil code, penal code and civil code, penal code, penal code, penal code, penal code, penal code, penal code and civil code, penal code and civil code, penal code, penal, 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 penal code, penal, 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 penal. Penal code, penal law, penal code, penal code, penal code, penal code, penal code, civil code, a penal charge, a penal charge. The driver paid the penal charge for speeding. The driver paid the penal charge for speeding. The board reads that the driver has to pay a penalty charge of $50 if he or she parks their car here. The board reads that the driver parking their cars here are subject to a penalty charge of $50. The board in the parking lot reads, the private parking lot reads, that those parking their cars here are subject to the penalty of $50. penalty charge of $50. The board in the private parking lot reads that those parking their cars illegally and without permission here are subject to a penalty charge of $50. A penalty charge. The board in the private parking lot reads that those parking their cars without permission in the premises are subject to a penalty charge of 10,000 yen per person. The board at the entrance of the facility reads that those parking their cars in the premises without permission are subject to the penalty charge of 10,000 yen per person. The board at the entrance reads that those parking their cars in the premises without permission are subject to a penalty charge of 20,000 yen. A penalty charge, penalty charge, penalty charge, penalty charge, penalty, penalty. A penalty charge. The board at the entrance of the facility reads that those parking their cars without permission in the premises are subject to the maximum penalty charge of 5 million yen. A penalty charge, a penalty charge, a penalty charge. A penalty charge. Penalty charge. A penalty charge. A penalty charge. A penalty charge. The driver was forced to pay a penalty charge of $20 for speeding. The police officer pulled over the speeding car and made the driver pay a penalty charge. The police officer stopped the car and made the driver pay a penalty charge of $20 for speeding. The police officer pulled the car over and made the driver pay a penalty charge of $30 for speeding. Did the judge find him guilty or not guilty? Did the judge find him guilty or not guilty? Innocent. Did the judge find the criminal guilty? Did the judge find the accused guilty or innocent? The judge found the defendant guilty for what he had done. The judge found him guilty The judge found the accused not guilty for what he had done. Guilty, not guilty. The accused pleaded for not guilty. The accused pleaded with the judge for not guilty, but he was found guilty later. The accused pleaded with the judge for not guilty, innocent. The defendant begged for not guilty, but he was found guilty. The defendant pleaded with the judge for not guilty. The accused begged for not guilty, but he was found guilty. The accused 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 was found guilty. The defendant was found guilty. Is there a jail in a prefecture? What is the difference between jail and prison? They both look similar. I often confuse jail with prison. I often confuse curb with cob. I often confuse curb with cob. I often confuse curb with cob. Both have similar pronunciation, but totally different meaning. The judge sentenced the criminal to be in prison for 3 years. The judge sentenced the man to be behind bars for 2 weeks. The judge sentenced the man to 3 months in jail, 3 months in prison. Is the criminal still in prison? Is the inmate still in prison? I sometimes hear scary news in which an inmate has escaped from prison or jail. I sometimes hear dreadful, scary news of an inmate escaped from a jail or prison. Is the criminal still behind bars? Is the criminal behind bars? Is the criminal still behind bars? The criminal is behind bars. 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 The inmate has been behind bars for 3 days. The inmate has been behind bars for 3 years. and predicted to be released anytime soon, as early as next week, as early as next month, as early as next year. Some inmates are behind bars. Some inmates are behind bars in this prison. Some inmates are behind bars in this jail. Some inmates are behind bars in this detention. The criminal has been behind bars for 2 years. The criminal has been behind bars since last year. The criminal has been behind bars for 1 year. The criminal will have been behind bars for 1 year next year. The criminal will have been behind bars for almost 1 year next year. There are some inmates behind bars in this prison. Jail, prison. Is the criminal still behind bars? 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 The judge sentenced the criminal to be behind bars for 2 years. The judge sentenced the man to 2 years behind bars. The judge sentenced the man to 2 years behind bars. The judge sentenced the man to 2 years in prison, in jail, behind bars. The judge sentenced the man to 2 years behind bars. The judge sentenced the man to 2 years behind bars. The judge sentenced the man to 2 years behind bars. The driver paid a fine of $30 for speeding. The driver paid a fine penalty of $50 for speeding. The driver paid a penalty charge for speeding. The driver paid a penalty charge. A penalty charge for speeding. The driver paid a penalty of $20 for speeding. The driver paid a penalty of $20 for speeding. The driver paid a penalty charge for speeding. A penalty charge of $20. The amount of fine for speeding has been increased. Do you think which will curb the drivers from speeding? The amount of fine has been increased. Do you think the increase will curb the drivers from speeding? The police officer fined the driver for speeding. The driver fined the driver $20 for speeding. The police officer fined the man of the car $20 for speeding. The police officer fined the man $50 for speeding. The police officer fined the man 10,000 yen for illegally parking his car. The police officer fined the man 10,000 yen for illegally parking his car in the premises without permission. The police officer fined the driver 10,000 yen for illegal parking. The police officer fined the driver of the car $40 for speeding. The driver of the car paid a fine of $40 for speeding. The driver of the car paid a fine of $40 for speeding. The driver of the car The owner of the car paid a fine of 20,000 yen for illegally parking his car. The police officer fined the driver of the car 20,000 yen for the illegal parking. The police officer fined the driver of the owner of the car 20,000 yen for the illegal parking. The police officer fined the driver of the car $50 for speeding. The police officer fined the man $60 for speeding. The police officer fined the driver of the car $60 for speeding. The police officer fined the driver of the car $80 for speeding. The police officer fined the man $90 for speeding. The police officer fined the man 10,000 yen for the speeding. The police officer fined the driver of the car $100 for speeding. The police officer fined the driver of the car $100 for speeding. The police officer fined the driver of the car $110 for speeding. The police officer fined the owner of the car 20,000 yen for him illegally parking his car on the premises without permission. The board at the entrance of the facility reads that the owner will fine those illegally parking his or her cars here without permission 20,000 yen as soon as the owner finds it. The board at the entrance of the facility reads that the owner finds the drivers illegally parking in the premises without permission 20,000 yen. The board at the entrance of the facility reads that the owner of the facility finds those illegally parking his or her cars here 20,000 yen. Are you content with existing situation? Existing objects, things that you have now. Do you think some of the existing laws should be revised or amended? Do you think some of existing laws should be revised or abolished, or they should enact something new to the current tastes? Existing. Some of the existing policies are absolutely obsolete, outdated. Some of existing policies, rules, orders might be obsolete. They need to be changed. Some of existing rules might be obsolete, outdated. Some of existing rules might be outdated, obsolete. Some of existing obsolete rules should be revised, amended, fixed. Some of existing obsolete rules should be revised, amended, fixed. Existing. My disease cannot be treated perfectly with the current existing treatment. My disease cannot be treated perfectly with existing technology, medical technology now. My disease cannot be treated perfectly with the existing medical treatment. I hope my disease can be treated perfectly in the near future. as early as tomorrow. My disease cannot be treated perfectly with the existing medical treatment. My disease cannot be treated perfectly with the existing medical treatment. Existing, existing, existing. Existing. Do you think some of the existing policies are obsolete? Do you think some of existing policies are obsolete, outdated, and they should be revised? Existing. Do you think some of existing rules or policies are obsolete? How many years does the Earth exist? How many years has the Earth existed? Has the Earth existed? How many years has the Earth existed? Has the Earth existed? Has the Earth existed? Do you know how many years the Earth has existed? Do you know how many years the Earth has existed? I didn't realize the existence of you until you talked to me. Sorry, because there were many people in the house. I should have known. I should have noticed the existence of the scholarship much earlier. I didn't expect that I could get it. I should have. I really regret not having known the existence of the scholarship at that time. I did not expect that I could the scholarship with my status at that time, but I could. I often regret not having noticed the existence of very important things. I often realize the existence of something important after the deadline and so on, after too late. I often regret not having noticed the existence of importance. I usually notice them after too late, after deadline and so on. Existence. Existence. I frequently regret not having noticed the existence of very importance. I usually notice them before too late, before deadline and so on. I wish I had noticed the existence of very importance. Then I would be better now. The opportunity will not come again, might not come back again. The opportunity might not come back again. So I'd like to cherish, take care of the rare opportunities. It was not until when I became an adult that I noticed the existence of the examination. Is the story existent? Is the content written in the book existent? Is the content written in the book existent? Existent. Is the content written in the book existent? 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 Is the content written in the book existent or science fiction? Is the book existent? Is the content of the book existent or science fiction? Is the content written in the book non-fiction or fiction? Made up story. Is the content written in the book existent or made up story? Fiction. Existent. Do you think aliens exist? Do you think aliens exist? Aliens are existent. Do you think aliens exist? Do you think aliens are existent? Do you think there are aliens existent in another planet? Do you believe in the existence of aliens living in another planet? Do you believe in aliens living in another planet? Do you believe in the existence of aliens living in another planet? Do you believe in the existence of aliens living in another planet? Do you believe in the existence of aliens living in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Do you think aliens are existent in another planet? Are those who can play this piece without any mistakes existent? Do you think someone who can play this piece without any mistakes are existent? Do you think someone who can play this piece without any mistakes are existent? Existent. Parking in this facility without permission is subject to maximum fine of $500. Parking in this facility without permission. Parking on the street illegally is subject to a penalty charge of $500, maximum penalty charge of $500, a penalty charge. Parking in the street illegally is subject to maximum penalty of $500. So please bear that in mind. So please keep that in mind. Violating the rules in this facility is subject to going out of the facility, including on the rules. Violating the rules, breaching the rules in this facility is subject to being forced to go out of this facility. I usually subject the futon to the sun outside to dry when it is very sunny. The scammer threatened to subject private information if the victim doesn't pay the amount of money. The scammer threatened to subject the private information if the victim didn't pay the amount of money. The scammer threatened to subject the information or private information, including pictures, to outsiders if the victim didn't pay the amount of money. We were subjected to much snow last night. We were subjected to much snow last night. It seems that we might be subjected to much snow tomorrow. It seems that we might be subjected to much snow tomorrow. We were subjected to much snow last night. We were subjected to much snow last night. Many drivers were subjected to traffic jam due to the heavy snow 2 days ago. On the expressway, many commuters were stranded, were stuck in the traffic jam. Many commuters by car were stuck in traffic jam and heavy snow on the expressway, leaving them waiting for more than 4 hours, keeping them waiting for 4 hours, making them wait for 4 hours, making them wait for 4 hours. Hmm. The scammer threatened to leak the private information to outsiders if the victim didn't pay the amount of money. The scammer threatened to subject the private information of the victim to outsiders if the victim didn't pay the amount of money. The scammer threatened to subject the private information to outsiders if the victim didn't pay the amount of money. I usually subject my futon to the sun in order to dry them out of veranda when it is sunny. It is common in Japan. Subjecting our skin to the sun for a long time is not good for our health due to the violet ray. Violet ray. Ultraviolet ray. It seems the weather will subject the city to the snow tomorrow. The region seems to be subjected to the snow. The region seems to be subjected to the snow tomorrow. The region seems to be subjected to the snow tomorrow. The region seems to be subjected to the snow tomorrow. The region seems to be subjected to the snow tomorrow. The region seems to be subjected to the snow tomorrow. Many commuters were subjected to the traffic jam due to the heavy snow. They were stranded for 4 hours. The heavy snow made the traffic jam. The heavy snow made the drivers wait for 4 hours. The heavy snow made the commuters stop. Made the commuters stop. Made the commuters stop. The heavy snow made many commuters stop on the expressway, making them wait for 4 hours. Many commuters by car were subjected to waiting for 4 hours without proceeding. Many commuters by cars on the expressway were subjected to heavy snow and traffic jam, making them wait for 4 hours while stopping. Many commuters on the expressway were subjected to much snow and traffic jam, making them wait for 4 hours until the snow were removed by the special truck. Until the snow melted, until the road was paved, until the snow was removed cleared by the special truck. The special truck is clearing the road of snow. The special trucks are prepared to clear the snow on the road of snow. Special trucks are used to clear the road of much snow efficiently. Many commuters by cars were subjected to the heavy snow, making them wait for 4 hours. Many commuters by cars were subjected to the stop on the expressway due to the heavy rain, owing to heavy snow, on account of heavy snow, owing to heavy snow. Many commuters by cars on the expressway were subjected to the stop due to the heavy rain. The heavy snow subjected the commuters by cars to the stop on the expressway for 4 hours. The heavy snow subjected the commuters by cars to the stop on the expressway. The heavy snow subjected the commuters by cars to the stop for 4 hours on the expressway. Exposing our skin to the sun for a long time is not good. Subjecting our skin to the sun for a long time is not good. Subjecting our information to outsiders easily is not good for our safety. Subjecting our private information too much on the internet is not good. The scammer threatened to subject private information to outsiders if the victim didn't pay the amount of money. Chores. Don't subject us to danger. Don't subject us to danger. Don't subject us to danger. I don't want to subject you to danger, so please hold the rule. Please keep the rules, okay? I don't want to subject you to the danger, so please keep the promise. Keep the rules, okay? If you don't want to be subjected to the danger, please keep the rules. If you don't want to be subjected to the dangers, please keep the rules. Keep the rules. Hold the rules. Hmm. Many commuters were subjected to the stop because of the heavy snow. They they were made to wait for 4 hours. 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 They were wait they were made to wait for 4 hours. They were made to wait for 4 hours. Hmm. Hmm. I saw someone crossing the street. I saw someone cross the street. Someone was seen to cross the street. Someone was seen crossing the street. I saw the musician appearing from the stage. I saw the musician appear from the stage. The musician was seen appearing from the stage. The musician was seen to appear from the scene. Hmm. I don't I would not like to subject you to the danger, so please keep the promise. Please keep the rules. I don't want to subject you to the danger, so please do not approach the ocean. So please do not approach the ocean or river when it is typhoon. She went so far eat another set of menu after eating the one. She went so far eat another set of menu. Many students go so far as to study at cram school after school. Many students go so far as to go to a cram school after school. Many students go so far as to go to a cram school after school. Many students go so far as to go to a scrum school after school. Hmm. I don't want to subject you to the danger, so please do not approach the ocean when it is typhoon. Many commuters by cars were subjected to the stop for 4 hours due to the heavy snow. They were stranded. They were stuck in heavy snow. According to the weather forecast, we will be subjected to heavy snow tomorrow. According to the weather forecast, many districts today were subjected to much snow, heavy snow. According to the weather forecast, many districts were subjected to much snow today. This morning, I watched some news. I watched some news. I watched some news. I watched some news. I watched some news about that. I watched some news. According to the weather forecast, many districts were subjected to much snow. I watched some news. I watched some news about that. I watched some news about that. I watched some news. I watched some news. I watched some news. I watched some news about that. I watched some news about that. I watched some news about that. I watched some news. I watched some news about that. I watched some news. I watched some news about that. According to the weather forecast, we could be subjected to much snow tomorrow. According to the weather forecast, we could be subjected to the snow tomorrow. We could be subjected to much snow tomorrow. We could be subjected to even more snow tomorrow. Even more snow tomorrow. Hmm. According to the weather forecast, we could be subjected to much more snow, very more snow, a lot more snow, far and large more snow, far and large more snow. This is the very best wine I have been searching for. I've ever tasted. This is the very best wine. This is the very best wine I have ever tasted. You are the very best person for the position. Please take this my subjective opinion, and please do not take it seriously, okay? Please just take my subjective opinion. Do not take it seriously, okay? Please take my subjective opinion casually, not seriously. Please take my opinion as a subjective one, as a subjective opinion. Please take my opinion as a subjective one, and do not take it seriously. Please take my opinion as a subjective one, and do not take it seriously. Subjective. From my subjective perspective, this curry is the best I've ever eaten. From my subjective perspective, teaching things is also important to make space and to make space, yes. And the space will make us more space in other ways. We will be more organized. We will have more time to do something with thanks to the space. Not only physical space, but we will have the mental space too. From my subjective perspective, ditching unwanted things is very important to make space mentally and physically. With a lot of things messy in the room, which will discourage us from doing something, and it can take time to find something, to look for something, to search for something in the mess. Do not make a fuss. During the midnight, don't bother my comfortable sleeping. Subjective. I try to take both perspective and objective perspectives into account. I try to take both subjective and objective perspectives into consideration. I try to take both subjective and objective perspective into account when I make a decision, when I embark on my business, when I create an idea, when I make a plan, when I create a plan, when I go ahead with my plan. I try to take both objective and subjective perspectives into account when I develop my software, when I create my plan, when I create itinerary. I try to keep both subjective and objective perspective into consideration when I create the itinerary. Not only include my favorite things into the itinerary, but also others too. Not only include the tourist spots which I like, but also the ones others like. Please take my opinion as a subjective one and do not take it seriously. Please take this opinion as an opinion. Please take my opinion as a one person opinion. Please take this opinion. Please Please take this as an opinion and do not take it serious. Please take this as an opinion. Please take this as an opinion from my subjective perspective and please do not take it seriously. Please take my opinion as a subjective one and not seriously. Please take my opinion as my subjective one and then do not take it seriously. Subjective. From my subjective viewpoint, to the movie, it is very good. From my subjective opinion to the tourist spot, it was very good. From my subjective perspective to the price of the menu, it is a little bit too expensive. My mother walked up to the station. My mother walked up to 1 kilometer longer destination. My mother makes it her rule to walk up to longer destination than the previous day. My mother makes it a rule to walk up to the longer destination than the previous day. My mother makes it a rule to walk up to the longer distance than the previous day. I make it a rule to read up to proceed with the textbook up to 3 pages a day. It's all up to you whether we start the business. It's all up to the governor whether the festival will be held. It's all up to the governor's decision whether the festivals will be held. It's all up to you. It's all depend on the governor whether the event will be held, will take place. It's all up to the governor whether the festivals will take place. My mother makes it a rule to walk up to longer destination than previous day. It's all up to the governor whether the festivals will take place. It's all up to the governor's discretion whether the festival will be held. It's all up to the governor's discretion. It's all up to the governor's discretion whether the event will be held. It's all up to the weather condition whether the festivals will be held. It's no wonder she looked pale. It's no wonder she looked pale. You look as if you saw a ghost. You looked as if you had seen a ghost. You look as if you had seen a ghost. Please do not ask the reason why I quit the job. Please do not ask why I quit the job position. I'm going to quit the job because there are more things I'd like to challenge and do. I wasn't born to work for the company forever, eternally, entirely, for good. I wasn't born in order to work for the company for good. I wasn't born in order to devote all of my life for the company. I was born to do what I like. I was born to do what I like. If you don't like it, you can quit it. If you don't like it, you can quit it. I want my father to quit smoking and drinking alcoholic beverages. I want my father to quit smoking and drinking. I want you to stop drinking and drinking and smoking. I want my father to quit smoking and drinking. I want my father to give up smoking and drinking. If you are really into that, you will never quit it. If you are really into that, you will never quit. I wish my disease, atopic dermatitis, will be eradicated perfectly. I wish my disease will be eradicated immediately. I hope my disease, atopic dermatitis, eczema, will be cured perfectly as soon as tomorrow, as soon as possible, as soon as medical advancement can. Committing to something until I break my health is a family disease. Is committing to something until I break my health a kind of a family business, a family disease? Is committing to something until I break my health is a kind of family disease? A family disease. Is committing to dedication to devocation to something until I break my health a sort of a family disease? A family disease. A family disease. Cannot say no might be a family disease. Cannot say no to the offer might be a family disease for me. Cannot say no to every offer might be a family disease. Cannot say no to every offer from customers might be a family disease. 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 A family doctor. Do you have a family doctor? Yes, many people have a family doctor. I will go to see a family doctor from time to time, from time to time, from time to time, from time to time, from time to time. There are some family diseases. What are the family diseases? For example, what are the family diseases? For instance, what are the family diseases? What is a family disease? What is a typical family disease? For example, what is a family disease? Typical family disease. Is commitment to something until I break my health might be is a commitment to a thing until I break my health a sort of a family disease? Is commitment to something until I break my health a kind of a family disease? A family disease. A family disease. A family disease. The flood caused many houses to be thrown away. The typhoon caused many houses to be outages. To have outages, blackout. The typhoon caused many residents, many houses to have power outages, blackout. The typhoon caused many houses to have. The typhoon caused many houses to be blackout. The typhoon caused many houses to have blackout. Negligence might cause mistakes. Not enough preparation might cause mistakes. His careless mistake caused big problems. Careless mistake might cause a big problem. Careless mistake might cause a big problem. Careless mistake might cause a big problem. The flood caused many commuters to be stranded. The heavy snow caused many commuters to be stranded. The heavy snow caused many commuters by cars to be stranded. The flood caused many houses to be thrown. The flood and heavy rain caused some houses to be thrown. The tsunami caused many houses to be thrown away. The tsunami caused many houses to be thrown away. The tsunami caused many houses to be thrown away. The tsunami caused many houses to be thrown away. The tsunami caused many houses to be thrown away. The pandemic caused many people to refrain from going outside. The state of emergency caused many people to refrain from going outside. The state of emergency caused many people to refrain from going outside, keep from going outside. The investigators are investigating the cause of the fire. The investigators are investigating the cause of the fire. Cause. The labor union is negotiating with the employer for pay raise and for good cause. The labor union is negotiating with the employer for pay raise and good cause. The cause of the fire is under investigation. The cause of the fire is under investigation. They are investigating the cause of the fire. They are investigating the sudden burst of the pipe. The investigators are investigating the cause of the sudden burst of the pipe. They are demonstrating for good cause. The labor union are negotiating with the employer with a good cause. I got the paid leave from the company with a good cause. I tried to get a day off on the day with a good cause, but I couldn't because of the very busy day. I tried to get a day off on the day with a good cause, but I couldn't because it was a very busy day. Cause. Good cause. Good cause. 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 Good 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 cause. Unless you have the good cause, we cannot accept it. Unless you have a good cause, we cannot accept the extension of the plan. Unless you have a good cause, we cannot accept your accepted extension of that plan. Good cause. Some people try without good cause. Some people try first without thinking and good cause. A good cause. Some people try first without thinking and a good cause. Some people enter a company without much thinking or a good cause. Some people try to enter a company without a good cause. Some people enter a company without a good cause. There must be a good reason for his motive. There must be a good reason, good cause behind the action. There must be a good cause behind his action. There must be a good cause behind his action. There must be a good cause behind his decision. There must be a good cause behind his decision. There must be good causes behind his decision. There must be good causes under his decisions. There must be good causes under his decision. There must be good causes under his decision. Could you tell us the reason? Could you tell us the cause why you chose this company to work with? Could you tell us the cause why you chose this company for? Could you tell us the cause, good cause, why you chose this company? Why you chose us to work with? Could you tell the cause why you chose us to work with? Could you tell us the cause why you chose us to work with? Good cause. My boss is very kind enough to give us a paid leave without a good cause. My boss is so kind as to give me a day off on short notice. My boss is very kind, so kind as to give me a day off without a good cause. Good cause, good cause, good cause, good cause, good cause. My boss is so kind as to give me a paid leave without a good cause. Good cause, good cause, good cause. My boss is so kind enough to give me a day off on short notice without a good cause. Good cause, good cause, good cause, 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 good cause, good cause. I tried to get the day off on the day from the boss with a good cause, but I couldn't get it because it was a very busy day. Cause, good cause, good cause. Causal investigation, causal investigation, causal investigation, causal investigation into the car accident is underway. Causal investigation into the crime is underway. Causal investigation into the fire is underway. Causal investigation, causal investigation, causal investigation into the fire is underway. Causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal relation of the fire, causal relation of the mistake. The travel agency informed the customers of the causal relation of the cancellation. The travel agency informed its guests of the causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. The travel agency informed the customers of the causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. The travel agency informed its customers of causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. The travel agency informed its customers of the causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. Causal relation, causal, 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 causal relation, causal relation, causal relation of the phenomenon, causal relation of the phenomenon, causal relation of the phenomenon. Causal relation, causal, 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 causal. Causal, 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 causal relation, causal investigation. Little preparation will be the causal seed of making a mistake. Little preparation will be the causal seed of making a mistake. Little preparation. No preparation is one of the causal seeds of making a mistake. No preparation might be one of the causal seeds of making a mistake. Causal seed, causal seed. No preparation might be one of the causal seeds of making a mistake. No preparation might be one of the causal seeds of making a mistake. No preparation might be one of the causal seeds of making a mistake. Causal, 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 causal. Causal seeds. Causal seed is not found regarding my disease. Regarding my disease. As for my disease, as to my disease, in relation to my disease, with respect to my disease, with regard to my disease, in respect to my disease, in regard to my disease, causal, 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 causal investigation, causal research, causal analysis, causal analysis, causal, causal pursuit, causal pursuit, causal investigation, causal analysis, causal analysis, causal analysis into the car accident, causal analysis into the mistake, causal analysis of the mistake, causal analysis into the mistake. Causal analysis of the mistake, causal analysis of the mistake, causal relation, causal relation, causal, 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 causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal, causal, causal. Causal relation, causal relation, causal, 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 causal relation, causal relation, causal, 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 causal relation, causal seeds. No preparation might be one of the causal seeds of making a mistake. Causal relation, causal relation. The travel agency informed its customers of the causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. The travel agency informed its customers of the causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. The travel agency informed its customers of the causal relation of the cancellation of the trip. Causal relation, 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 causal, 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 causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal, 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 causal relation, 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 causal, 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 causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal, causal relation, 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 causal, 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 causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, causal relation, 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 causal relation, causal, causal, causal. Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.